Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to day three of night school. Super excited that you guys are here. This night is going to be amazing. Listen, we've been talking all day long about how the last 2 days, how delicious it's been, how the conversation yesterday, the conversation between Tiffany and I was just juicy. And then watching some of your comments inside of the Facebook group and some of the private messages that have come in, I just want to say welcome. And we're so excited that you are here and joining us. Today is day 3. Today we're talking about the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. I am excited about it because today we're talking about how do we use your story to generate revenue? Like, what's the difference between revenue and profitability and just money? Like, how do we use our experiences? How do we use this? I'll tell you, one of the first things that yesterday I shared with you the journey that Tiffany and I had together of me just learning to own my story, learning to own my truth, and then begin to share it out with the world. And I had one of my very first $11,000 month, my first 11K month, using my story. And this model, this crazy model that Tiffany shared with me, that she said, listen, you need to do this. And I fought part of the way through, but at the end of the month, after following this formula, ended up with 11K using my story. So super delicious, and how you can incorporate your story into everything that you do, all of your teaching, all of your reach outs, whether you're doing any on your marketing, or if you're simply calling on the phone and just saying, hi, my name is. Your story is, as I said yesterday, is your freedom. Your story is the thing that it makes you the most unique out into the world, because nobody has your story. So today we're going to deep dive. We have a lot of content, and we have a lot of knowledge that the one and only Tiffany Largy is going to be dropping to you. So grab your paper, grab your pen, get ready to get settled in, because we're going to have a delicious conversation. I also want to welcome those that are watching the preview, those that are watching on YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform it is that you happen to be capturing this. We want to say welcome, and welcome to the Do the Damn Thing family and everything that we have here. So without further ado, before we pop into the amazing day 3, I want to show you just a little recap, a little bit of what took place yesterday. So let's check that out.
I need it to be done right. If I just edit, I don't edit any of these photos. I just post them. But what if I overwhelm people, overwhelm them? What if it's too much? Let it be too much. What if they get sick of me? They weren't for you. I don't care. You're in total control as to how you tell your story, but because you're messing around in your head about what other people think, and if it overwhelms them on a flipping free platform called Facebook or Twitter, or Instagram, or LinkedIn. Oh, but I don't want to offend them. Offend everybody. What are you talking about? Offend every fucking person. What are we talking about?
Your story is your superpower. Your story is the light that shines in the darkness. And when you step into a room that is bright and that has other people that are glowing, your light is what outshines everybody else. somebody from across the room can say, that's the light I need. And they're attracted to you. Your story is your freedom.
I am doing all of these things. And the reality is that until you actually open the door, set yourself free, and you get to feel freedom,
right,
and give breath to these cells, the version of you, this strategy won't work for that person.
Which is why when there are so many that are alumni that are here, that are hearing this session differently than they did the last time, because of the fact that they're in a different place, they've done the work, and they're in a different mindset, they're in a different environment, they're in a different mental and heart space.
100%. We are here on day 3. Oh my gosh! Not only are we here, but we are here and we are here. How do we make money with this story, she said. Did she say that we can make money with our story? The truth of the matter is that not only can you make money, but you are leaving so much money on the table right now, like for real, by not using your story, by not leveraging your story, and by telling the curated, super sophisticated, perfect, crafted, hand-braided story. The reality between you and me is that you are one moment away from getting what you want, building what you want, crafting what you want. And in all essence, you're actually just one story away. Everyone has told you in some capacity that you need to be building a big business. You need to go out there and go chase some big money. We need big things. We need to get to 6 figures. We need to have 7 figures. We need to have a launch that does 54K. We need all these things to be happy. We need all these things to prove to the market that we're valid. We need all these things to say to the world that we are an expert. And the truth of the matter is that we don't. The moment that you make a decision to own the story's expertise, you become an expert then. The moment that you're willing to be challenged on your experience is the moment that you step into your expertise and you own it forever, and it becomes non-negotiable. The concept that I want to put in front of you right now is I really need you to stop chasing big money. Sincerely. Like, let's just have a heart-to-heart. Me and you, bestie. Let's just have a heart-to-heart. I'm about to take out a bottle. I'm going to get comfortable for a moment because I really need you to hear me, and I need you to hear me clearly. Every person has told you under the sun that you need to be chasing some big money. You need to be chasing big money attached with big accolades so that you can have a big title, so you can have bigger confidence, and then you'll have a bigger marriage, and you'll have bigger friendships, and you'll have bigger all the things. And the truth of the matter is it's a lie. Did she just say it's a lie? She did. And what gives her the right to say that? I do. Your story is the fact that we need in order to validate whatever you are. We really don't need anything else. What I want from me to you is I want you to leave big money behind. And it's not that I want you to settle for less, and it's not that I want you to go after smaller numbers, but it's because I really want you to pursue happiness. Between me and you, what good is it? Like, for real, what good is it if you spend the next 12 months building and building and building, but you miss the point or the purpose or the objective in what you were building anyways? Don't overlook small money. Small money pays bills. Number 1, don't overlook small money. Number 2, I want to remind you that small money pays bills. And until you get to the big money, you can have a lot of small money. I wrote this book. Now, this is my printed version of it, but I wrote this book after coming out of, I feel like I was going to say not the pandemic, but my own pandemic, after having surgery, because I realized that there were too many people around me who were still asking the question. I say around me, people that I could look at in our social media accounts. I watched the thread of women, specifically the women who were between the ages of about 44 to 54 or 47 to about 58, they were in this place of, well, I'm not as young as, I can't do that. I'm not as talented. I'm a little bit behind. I'm not as further along. And believing that, man, that they were not able to make money. And they were hearing this idea of hustle, and hustle was rooted in staying up overnight, working all the weekends, and it was drowning. And then someone ran along them and said, oh, no, forget that. You can be an e-commerce store owner. And you can make $2 trillion if you head to Amazon right now and become an affiliate associate and a seller and a platform and a drop shipper and all of the things. And so you went, squirrel. And then you ran to the right and you started doing all the foolishness times 4. I can't say that word, but fooling around by spending time and money in the area that you really didn't need to, when the truth was you just needed to make another $4,000 in your life so that way you could move out of the house that was uncomfortable or unhappy for you. The truth is that you really needed to focus on making another $1,800 a month so that you could just buy yourself a new wardrobe to either commemorate the weight you had lost, to step out into your new space after the divorce, to go and attract the man or woman that you were after. And if you were one of those people who believe that everyone is in love with your insides and no one wants to see your outsides, you are wrong. I know someone's going to be like, I can't believe she said that. She said people only want me for my body. Well, I only want some people for their body. You know what I mean? So I'm just talking about my damn self. But the truth, the reality of this thing is that money allows you to buy your way to the next moment. Money allows you to buy your way to the next moment. It allows you to buy your way to the entertainment that you want. It allows you to buy your way to the lifestyle that has been waiting for you. Now, what I don't want you to do is get caught up on how to make $1 million with your story. But I do want you to be caught that there are multiple things that you could be doing right now that include your story that will allow you to get to the next level. Now, in this book, and if you haven't gotten it, somewhere here in the chat is a link to the book. And if you're watching this on a platform, just tag us and ask us. If not, head to dtdtnation.com, and somewhere on this site is this. No, I'm not putting you in a funnel. Afterwards, we're not going to offer you a product for $1.99 or none of the above. This is literally just a free book unattached to anything. And what it does is it has 52 ways, meaning if you were to implement one a week, at the end of the year, you will have more money, your platform or world will be bigger, and you'll feel a little bit stronger because you'll be in control of how you make money. I sat down and I wrote this myself without the use of ChatGPT, without stealing it from someone else, without having someone ghostwrite it for me. I did not do this on Fiverr. No one on Upwork is holding the template. We did the entire thing in-house inside of the story agency and inside of the story agency, which is one of the companies that I own that curates how we tell the story. And I sat down with a cup of coffee on a weekend and I wrote the whole thing myself. Now I'm going to read you a couple of concepts because I feel like we make making money hard. And I also feel that we make making money harder than it needs to be. I'm also going to say this. I feel like we make saving ourselves harder than it used to be. I feel that we also make taking ownership of our situations or issues harder than it needs to be. And we do that because we're either lacking confidence, because we're unsure, because someone has made us feel less than. We do that because we just don't know a better way. We do that because we were told that this method is better and it will get us a better result. We do that because everybody else around us is thinking small. And so we're like, okay, I want to stand out, but I don't want to stand out too much because I don't want to be ridiculed. But I'm going to say to you, man, stand out. Life is too short to try and spend all this time trying to be like the others, or as Dr. Seuss says, fit in. I have no interest in doing that. Do you? Like, for real, you got an interest in doing that? Like, pursuing yourself and your happiness, and I'm telling you this from the woman who has bought and sold companies. I have built a 7-figure business. I had business partners like Xerox and HP and Franco Postelia and all types of big Fortune 500 company names. I was a business partner and I sold a company and I bought others. Here I am at the other end of another decade, because I did that in my first decade of business, but in my second decade of business, you know, I'm going to take a shot for that, because that right there deserves some respect. because I rolled that off of my tongue. I didn't have to take no effort. So in the second decade of business, I have built a global brand. I have put more than $1 million in the bank just by telling my story. That's it. And I did that before I produced or built a production company. So I'm telling you from the seat of the woman who has done it. And every time I hear my peers tell the world that their happiness lies in their ability to build an XYZ business, I'm like, man, you guys have got it so backwards. Your happiness relies on your ability to own yourself and pursue your happiness and make money and be happy as you're doing it. Yes, you get to the destination, and yes, you have more money in your bank account. But when you have more money in your bank account and you're at the destination, but you're alone and you're alienated and you're silenced, there's nothing fun about that. I've lived in a penthouse. I will tell you, life is so much more better when we share it with each other. Which is why everything that I'm about or everything that I want to teach the world how to do, I'm going to make sure that happiness and joy and true peace and excitement is right next to it. Because if not, then you're building a business for naught. You're making money for naught. And I want to remind everybody for the 458th time, no matter what anybody says, we're going to leave every last one of these items on this planet when we leave. We are not taking any of it with us. So why am I going to store all of it in material things that I cannot? No. But I totally understand, because I'm also the woman who used to 20 years ago put her kids to bed hungry. Like, you talk about hating yourself, hating your life. Every time I see a peer of mine, and I feel like I really struggle. I feel like I struggle calling them peers. I feel like I have to talk. I think I have to create a new word going into this next year. I think I'm going to start labeling them the others. I feel like I have no choice. Is that okay? Am I allowed to do that? Does anyone protest? I feel like that's the only name I can just give to the industry. Call them the others. And I feel like, does that work for anybody? Like, I just feel like that gives us an idea for what we're talking about here. Because the truth is, your joy and peace, your ability to own your story, and using your story, using you. So I'm going to replace today. For today's segment alone, I'm going to remove the idea that it's just about telling your story. I want to insert the idea of using you to make money. And what I mean by that is using your mind, your heart, your intelligence, your wisdom, instead of just your physical, tactical skill. You are more than the button that you can push. You are more than the thing you can carry. You are more than the person that you can show up and open those church doors on Wednesday, Thursday, Bible study on Saturday morning, Sunday at 7 a.m., 2 hours before the pastor comes in. You are more than that. You are more than your ability to serve somebody else. You are more than your ability to serve somebody else. And the reason why I wrote this is because I said to myself, man, if I can give the world a simple, and there's no cost to this. So do not dare say Tiffany Largy is here trying to sell me something. She sat up there and promoted. No, because when you opt in, you're going to find that there's nothing behind it. It is simply a gift. And we're not asking for anything in return, because everything that took me from, I am losing my mind 20 years ago. I cannot feed these children. I'm angry with God. I may not get over this anger with God. I am cussing how I got into this situation. I am cussing the fact that I hated elements of where I was born into and what my life was like. I know everybody was like, Tiffany, be grateful, be happy that it's pretty hard to be happy about all the things that hold you down, that you felt. And the truth, the moment that I really understood that I had way more control than I was giving myself credit for is actually when everything changed. Me hustling and making $1 and then turning my dollar into $2, $3 is what got me to here. But no, I was not in the right place at the right time. I did not have the world or people behind me that said, oh, Tiffany, you can sleep on the couch for, 5 years while you figure it out. We'll take care of your kid. No, that's not the kind of story. I did not get a sugar daddy way back then who said, you know what, let me do XYZ and you do XYZ and we have a fair arrangement. Some of you caught that. Some of you didn't. Come from Miami, and that's sometimes how we have to roll. And it's okay. I want to repeat, it's okay. But the reality is that I just had to, and me hustling the dollar was about me hustling my confidence. Sometimes we're in a position where we actually just have to go find the confidence, and we got to build it like brick by brick. We have to build the confidence. We got to go and acquire pieces. And each and every move that we're making is about us building the pieces and building our confidence, building the pieces and building our confidence. It's okay to build the confidence. It's okay to build your confidence. It's what's not okay is for you to chase the people who are chasing money and are secretly unhappy. That is not okay. And this coach, is not about that life at all. Personally, I think it's dumb. Oh, well, Tiffany, money buys happiness. Yeah, money does buy happiness. I actually agree with that statement. But money can't buy happiness if I'm still trapped on the inside. Anybody get that? Like, if you heard me, if you really, really heard me, like, money cannot be if I'm trapped on the inside. Step 1 was hustle. I'm going to read you a couple of the few, because in this, the very first sentence, Bestie, says this, okay? Very first sentence says this, and if you don't know how to grab this, please, 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 please go and ask a team member, ask a peer, wherever you're seeing this, and ask us for the book. We will hand you the link. I believe in a method, and it's called stack cash first, build the business second. I realize that I've gotten into this world that teaches everybody that they need to go and build all the business and then go find it. But that's not how I did it. When I was putting myself to bed hungry and putting Jada and Mai to bed hungry and hating myself and crying every night and saying every bad word while I got shamed by the church for saying every bad word between Friday and Sunday, because I had no clue where my ex-husband was. It's funny. Someone said to me, I forget when or what, but they were like, I want to make sure I give you the right words. They were like, I completely understand your position, Tiffany, because that's what happens when you're a teen or young unwed mother. And I was like, first of all, I was married. Second of all, I done went to all the pastors and all the people in between. I went to all the altar calls. I done took 447 types of communion. Anyone ever take too much communion because you think the next one you swallow is going to come and help you? Like, you're like, if I just have a little more of this unmarked wine in church, if I just take one more, maybe I didn't swallow it fast enough. Maybe I didn't do it right. Let me close my eyes more. This time, Jesus, I'm going to sit in the 4th row instead of the 15th row, because if I stand closer to the altar in the 4th row, maybe God will hear me. Maybe the pastor's blessing is going to fall on me a little bit better. That is exactly how I lived my life, only to find out that all of those things were at the corner of me staying trapped. And every person around me was trapped in their own right. And every person around me was putting me in a box in order for me to find my solution. The truth is that I realized that I was so far behind in believing that I was even valid as a woman or as a human. And I think that that's cultural because of so many things that happened to me as a child, as a teenager, and just growing up being first generation born in the United States, and or just being a woman in general. Like if you heard me and you're a woman and you just take a deep breath for the stories, the moments, and the trauma that is sitting inside of women that is never talked about and swept under the rug, like deep under the rug. Can I just have a moment of silence? And I heard you, sis. And it's not for me, it's sister, for the other woman who was suffering. who has suffered. Because, like, this is important to me, but not because I have a narrative behind it, but because I know if I can get you to consider the fact that while you're waiting for a moment to get your confidence together, to make more money, to get to the next level, to do what it is, whatever it is you want to do, that I know that you will be stronger if you can simply stack cash and build your business or build your dream or build whatever it is later. One of my favorite ideas in here, this is an actual book. It's so cool. Okay, so I just want you to consider the fact that all it takes is about $100 a day to change your life. Stack cash now. Hashtag stack cash now right now in the chat. And if you're watching this with us on social media, hello, I'm so excited that you're here. And if you're like, who the hell is this woman and how did she get here? I'm still glad that you're here. Stack cash now. Hashtag stack cash now is actually the name of the game. And $100 a day will change your life. I know someone's going to try and challenge me, but if you haven't also put your kids to bed hungry and battled living or not living every other week, while being a first-generation Black woman in the United States of America, then your opinion may not be valid. $100 a day will change your life. $300 a day will change the lives of people around you. $100 a day will change your life. $300 a day will change the life of people around you. I'm telling you from experience. The moment that I made my first $2,500 by myself, I mean, my life changed. It changed like ridiculously. But then you take me from making $2,500 for that month to making $4,700 in a month. Now I could actually pay my rent and buy the kids food. What? Now, I don't want you to get fancy. I wasn't eating prime ribs or, we weren't eating at the Cheesecake Factory, but I could make hot food multiple days and pay my $1,600 in rent because it was $1,000 per kid to put them in preschool. Imagine having 2 kids under the age of 3. Do you know what that is? And you don't have no family. There's no Ray Ray or Pookie or no Juanita down the street to help you. No grandma, no Nana, nothing like that. It is you, Jesus, Mary of Magdalene. Is John the Baptist. He had to come in there sometimes. But you have this really raw place where you're like, man, my back is really against the wall. And it's always against the wall. And while it's against the wall, I feel still down. I feel still lost. I still feel like I'm dumb. I have felt like I was dumb. And that doesn't feel good when you feel like you're dumb and everybody else around you just smarter, or they were just meant for better. Getting my confidence together started when I learned how to knock on doors. So I left my house every single day and I knocked on about 45 doors. And I knocked on 45 doors every day in roughly about 200 businesses in Coral Gables, Florida, Homestead, Florida, Miami, Florida. Every once in a while, I fooled around and went to Aventura and some of the fancy places where people like me were like really chased out of buildings by police. I was a solicitor. I've never said that before, but hello, my name is Tiffany Largy and I'm a solicitor. I would knock on these doors every day, and my hope and prayer was that I'd be able to get someone to entertain buying the equipment or the software that I sold. It was hard, but I knew that if I could just get to $4,700 versus the $2,700 I made last month, then it would change my life. So the $4,700 changed the life around me. At that time, it was my kids, like my kids. I changed our life. I couldn't pay for more things than rent and lights and water and not the nursery, but preschool. But that was enough. Guys, I don't know where you are right now, but I want you to focus on getting to your enough. Just get to your enough and take a deep breath there. Get to your enough. I was like, man, $4,700. So instead of focusing on all the things that would keep me distracted and keep me far, far away, like I had heard. So let me tell you how this breaks down. So in the world of hardware and software, a lot of times the guys, the men, they were always, their ego, they were always focused on like selling or positioning big products, and they wanted the $100,000 kill and things like that. And I was like, man, I would love that. That's amazing. If I did $100,000, I would make 15,000. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine what a month would be like. And it was so exciting to even think about being able to sell that amount and make that amount and have people come be entertained with me. And guess what happened? I realized that to sell that took a lot more mental capacity than I had. I had 2 children under the age of 3. And Maya was in the hospital. That's my second. She was in the hospital with pneumonia and asthma and all types of things. And she had 3 surgeries on other, she had a born with a birth thing. And I literally was like, and then Jada, my oldest, was having ear infections every 20 seconds. And if you're a mom or a parent and you have a child like this thing is crazy. Jada was having ear infections. Jada had like 8 surgeries before the age of 3. It was crazy. So every time I thought about what it would take, like to sit down and put in all my energy and effort into this place, I love the idea of chasing the big money. But at this time, I just needed to build my confidence. And you need to stay in the game long enough to get to the next level when you can go chase the big money. So I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I was like, you know what I can do? I can chase the little things. What about the ditto money? I was like, okay, I can't go chase this big thing because mentally it's overwhelming. And you have to know where you are. Like, you got to know what season you're in. Because I knew for me, my ex-husband was still running the streets. He was gone for weeks at a time. Every couple of days, I would get a phone call with some BS. And if it wasn't that, it was my daughter who needed to go for surgery. And then my family was having drama. Like, it was so crazy in these Miami streets. I could not wrap my head around. So instead of trying to pursue it, I let the concept go. Now, I let the concept go, but I didn't let go forever. So there's stacking cash and little money, and you eat from the little money until you have a big win. And for me, it became once a quarter, and that's when you get to make big moves. So I use the little dollars to feed myself and to pay bills, and I use the big dollars to take jumps and make big moves. That is no different than how I run my life today or how I run my companies today. I'm not going to go too far into leverage income and passive income and active income. But what I want to tell you is this, that even if you're running $1 million company right now and your company's cash poor, this still applies to you. This is not a person who's just starting. Not at all. No, this is for us. This is for me. And this is for you, bestie. Like, real talk. Trust me when I say being able to eat consistently and watch Thumbelina with my daughters on Friday and Saturday night, because we watch this thing on replay. It was everything. Now, what I did to go and focus on this little dollars is I got specific. Imagine taking one of these ideas and concepts, and this is inside of the 52 Ways to Stack Cash book that we wrote. We printed it here in the studio very quickly because I wanted to be able to reference it. But for real, like I decided to take a product that wasn't my own. So one of the ideas in here, and I'm not sure which one it is. Let's see. I took a product that was not my own, and when I took a product that was not my own, I simply took the product and I resold the product into the market. Ding, 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 ding. I took a product that was not my own, and I resold it into the market. And instead of focusing on big things, I just decided to focus on all of the machines that I could carry. And if you can imagine, I would walk in and I would carry these things like this. And I would literally walk in, Or I would walk to the door and put it down by the door, and I'd knock on the door, or I'd open the door and be like, hi, how you doing? Such and such and such. If anybody gave me 1.0% of an idea that they were like maybe interested in new equipment, I'd be like, wait right there, wait right there, wait. And I'd run outside and I'd grab this thing and I would come and I'd be like, I have it right here. And they'd be like, the flip are you doing? And I would assume the sale. Really quickly, I want you to write this word down for yourself, assuming the sale. Assume the sale. Assume the move. My ability to assume the sale is what got the person to go, well, she's either crazy or she's lost her mind, but she looks nice. Some might say she smelled nice. A few might say she looked nice. Thank God for pencil skirts bought from JCPenney. But I came in through this and I said, okay, great. Here's what we're going to do. I just want to show you what I'm talking about. This moment of assuming the sale is what got me to get the person on the other end to lean in. Now, if I would have walked in like this and I was like, hey there, hi, yeah, we absolutely have something, and I could show you sort of something maybe over there, kind of sort of possibly at some point in the future, and I'm absolutely going to get the message over to you. But my hands were tied behind my back because I had nothing to show you. I didn't really have anything to talk about. Then I really couldn't assume the sale because what would require is for me to leave. I'd have to leave and then come back and hope that I get this time again. I knew that if I sold this machine, it put about $600 in my pocket. That's it. So I did this. Imagine knocking on all these doors every single day, 45 doors a day, 200 a week. And every so often I would find a big whale and I'd find an opportunity to sell something bigger. But I was focused on these smaller things because I knew that every 30 to 60 people would be entertained by this machine, and I would move one a week, at least. One a week, $600, $600 times 4 is $2,400. That's how I started getting to 45 doors, because before I was at 20. And I was like, okay, if I move 2 of these a month, if I move 2 of these a month, I got it. I'll make $4,800. And I was like, great, double time. And so I started really, that's how 45 doors came in. That's how this formula came in, because I was like, got it. I understand completely. I just need to put in X amount of activity and I'll get this product out. This is Sales 101. It's a math game. So with my confidence and my fears intact, I went out every day. Hi, repetitively. Hi, how you doing? My name is Tiffany Largy. Insert business card. I'm from such and such and such. Boy, did it get boring. Boy, was it repetitive. And oh my gosh, was it like, when will this day end? But if I focused on all the things that were uncomfortable about it, then I would have never kept going. What I focused on was my ability to go watch Thumbelina. We love Thumbelina in my house. This moment of me being able to be in bed with them or on the couch and watch Thumbelina was everything. Because I knew that all I had to do was get up and rinse and repeat the activity. I would get X amount of dollars and I would build my sanity. Now, what I did with that sanity is huge, because everything before that was crazy. It was crazy. It was dramatic. It was crazy. It was overwhelming. It was filled with anger. It was filled with just things that were heavy. It was just bad. But building my self-sanity is step number 1. And for the company who's doing, like, I can tell you, this is the same method that I put in place for a company who comes to my doorstep who's doing $1 million right now, or $5 million. Where do we all get sanity? So that's the first place to strive for. We pick a dollar, which I'm going to ask you right now. What's your dollar? What's the dollar that's going to give you the sanity that you need? What's the dollar, like right now? Or what's the thing that we can buy with $1 that's going to give you the sanity you need for your tomorrows? I knew what mine was. I needed time to get out of the situation I was in. I needed time to get the confidence to move out of Miami, which was harder than hard. I needed the time to move myself to Miami before Jada turned 5 and started kindergarten. I needed these things. So I just needed to buy myself time. And what's not my, oh man, if I'm making X amount of money. For me, my basic bills were 40 something $100. But that goes without medical, diapers, and all that stuff. Now, after you do that, then you go, great. I now need my new money. What is the amount of money that's going to allow me to pursue new things? So think of it like must money and then new money. Here's my must money. Here's my new money. These are the two ways in which I'm building my life. The reason why I emphasize me taking someone else's product, because that removed the pressure of me having to come up with my products and services on my own. I didn't even need to think about it. I just needed to go out and be willing to go outside and do this thing. That's it. I needed to be willing to go outside and do this thing. I didn't need to think about my own product. I didn't need to be emotionally stable to come up with my product. I didn't need to understand. I didn't need to get over the hiding and the trauma and the sadness and the truth or the insecurities that I had from my story. It gave me the time to deal with my story, to breathe in my story, to own my story. On my way to 7 figures, I did the exact same thing. You buy yourself the time that you need by stacking cash. And now that you and I have spent this time together, we both know together that your story is like a non-negotiable in these streets. And I've already told you that this is where the healing is going to come in. This is where the truth is going to come in. This is where the confidence is going to come in. This is where the power is going to come in. This is where all the good things are going to come in. Being honest with yourself, your must money and your new money. My new money allows me to do new things, get to new levels, acquire new confidence, push forward in a new way. It allows me the new thing. For you and for me, I know that your confidence is tied to your money. And I know that we sit in a world that makes it feel like everybody else is winning. They are not. But you can. Your must money and your new money. So my must money gave me the confidence to do the work that I needed to do. My now money, or my new money, I should say, allowed me to build. After I got to this place of normalizing my mind or stabilizing my mind, and it can't be for years. You only have a couple of weeks to do this, couple of months. Then at that point, I need to go then get to the next level. I need to then go find. And that's when I started taking on more ways to hustle money or I needed to sell bigger things. Okay. If you understood and you've got me, you've heard me, we're on the same page. You're like, oh, I got it. Check, check, check. Something clicked for me. Can you just put the word money in the chat? If you really got it, can you please put the word money Miami in the chat? If you really, really, really got it, is money Miami in the chat. There's 2 ways that you can hustle and stack cash right now, okay? The 2 ways that you can stack cash right now that are just consistent and easy and clear. And they're black and white. Number 1, it is you selling a service. You don't need a product. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to do anything other than own your confidence and possibly your story. And you need to take it to someone and say, hey, I can help you solve said problem, period. If you're like, Tiffany, I'm not talking to people. I don't even like people. I can't do it. Got it. Check it. Understood. Then the alternative is that you're going to say this. I'm going to put my solution in the form of a book. So in theory, we could sell this book. And I've thought about it. It's a good book. It's written and it's delicious. I was like, this thing is kind of cute. We could sell it for $5. We could sell it for $10. We could sell it in the future. And I was like, okay. So yes, we could sell this book and this is printed. Now this is 52 ways to make money, but I could have written a book on 52 ways to connect with your daughter and have fun every single day because I have mastered that. I have 3 girls and they are as obsessed with me as I am of them. And as old as my oldest one is, I'm still her best friend and she's still mine. And there's nothing greater than that. In this though, It doesn't matter what topic I'm talking about. It's the fact that I took some of my knowledge, we're going to call intellectual property, and I put it right here in this book for the world to consume. And what I need you to know right now is that you could do the same thing. You could sell just this and never talk to a human, and you're still using your story to make money. You could also put it in a video format. You can put it in audio. Hopefully you saw in Homeroom, you got access to dive into some of the knowledge that we distribute through audio, and you've landed on either the DTDT audio experience or more for the woman who wants more. And if it's not that, you have landed right next to Set It on Fire. And if those three were not for you, that means that you are a long-lived fan of our Build the Damn Thing podcast, which is probably now in 3 or 4 years. The coolest thing ever is that regardless of how or what, my statement and my truth to you is that it's our confidence that is in the valley that keeps bringing us down. And it's our confidence in either not stepping out bolder, or our confidence in not speaking up louder, or our confidence in ourselves or our inability to, whatever that might be, to not do more. Little money will go a long way. Little money will go a long way, and it'll take you all the way if you let it. I'm here 20 years later, and I'm going to tell you that I can't imagine life without it. So, we have officially just finished a private conversation from me to you about how important it is for me to make sure that you know that it's not about the big money, it's about the little money. It's totally about the little money. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break together in a deep breath. And I'm going to ask you to take this book and circle. Go at it. I want you to do this after you read it, because you want to read it, because I wrote these words from me to you. Don't skip it. It's not fluff. And I want you to take a pen and I want you to do this obnoxiously, like, And I want you to go, I think I can do that. Circle. You know what? I think I could do this. You know, one of these ways is even a website that you can go to claim your free money from the government. I'll never forget when we first released this book and we went to, I think we posted it in a group we have. We have a Facebook group called, we have a Facebook group. And in this Facebook group we posted, I'll never forget the moment when I heard a couple of people who, they were like, oh, I can't believe it. I found money. I found a couple $100. I found a couple $1,000 with my name on it for my spouse or my partner or my dad or myself. And it works. And I'm like, that's wild. All you did was download something and you read a sentence and you implemented the thing. And here we are, money later. Don't sleep on money. And more importantly, every dollar counts. Our goal together is to change what happens tomorrow and to be in control of all our yesterdays. And I say yesterdays because they're not going to hold us down. They're not going to keep us back. We're not going to pay no mind to what did not happen. We're not going to pay no mind to who wants to stay back there and try to anchor us over there. We got somewhere to go. So go ahead, grab your book, make your list, circle, highlight, create the dots, and I will see you in just a few moments.
Listen, the moment that you own your story, the moment that you own your truth, the moment that you own your talent and your gifts is the moment that you free yourself from the burden of handling other people's crap, other people's ish, other people's stuff that you don't need to be dealing with. It's the moment that you get to free yourself to show up authentically. You no longer are tolerating other people's insecurities, no longer managing their toleration. That's fun, brother. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You want nuts, right?
Yes, sir. It's the moment that you begin to give yourself the opportunity to show up the way that you were designed to show up. Stop managing other people's insecurities and just be yourself. Own your shit, own your story, and just do the damn thing.